Welcome back, everyone, to Grand Tactician, the Civil War. It is January 1864. Washington, D.C. is under siege by the British, and the French are also kind of in that area as they're in between Baltimore and Philadelphia. There's a good chance that this whole war could be over very quickly if they are able to take those cities, because they're at 31 right now in national morale. So we're going to put the pressure on as much as we possibly can right now. Confederacy is printing new notes, so let's go ahead back to our policies and see what else we might be able to do at the moment. There's not a lot, but we're going to do the Revenue Act 1. We're just going to keep the money flowing. It's all about putting the pressure on them right now, though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and we're going to try to force a big showdown. Oh, we were headed to the Army of Massachusetts. It's actually not a bad idea to go after them first, just to clear them out so they don't go after Richmond while I'm sitting here. So let's do that. We'll go pursue them. It is winter, so things are moving pretty slowly. Oh, and there's a third corps coming in. So second corps is going to get there, and we're going to probably be on our own for a little while we wait for the reinforcements from Longstreet's corps to arrive. Hopefully they're in range. They are in range. Okay, so yeah, he actually doesn't have much of a force. It's just the Third Corps. The Army of Massachusetts, that's just 11,000 men, but they're not going to reinforce. This is a good opportunity to smash a Union army. As of now, things seem to be pretty even. Our estimate of Union strength is 47,000. Ours is almost exactly that. We do have twice the guns that he has. We're showing almost 5,000 men absent sick. He's got about the same number. We're showing 28 guns lost already. I'm not sure why that is. But we do have reinforcements that will be on the way in the form of Longstreet's corps about 15 hours away. So right now we just got to hold tight until we double his forces. So it's a meeting engagement. We're north of Fredericksburg. The objective is over here, so we expect he'll go for that. He's going to come in from the south over here. So it makes sense to deploy right up in here somewhere. So I'll get deployed, and we'll try to make a run on that objective and maybe try to build a battle line in here along Hazel Run if we can. All right, I issued all my orders, and the Union has already taken the objective. So we've got to issue new orders to kind of adjust for that. So I think the main thing is I just have to get my cavalry that I was sending in there, the Hell Riders. I sent them up. They were going to take the objective. We're just going to have to slow them down, and we're going to dig in right along this creek here, and then we'll probably just let him hold the objective till my reinforcements arrive. Okay, so he's dug in. So I guess, I don't know how he did that. He must have already been holding the objective, even though it was showing as white at the start. Hardly a meeting engagement, if you ask me. And I don't know why some of my divisions didn't move into position when I gave the orders. We'll put Hell Riders in here as a reserve. I'm going to pull Pegram back. Some of our units have less than ideal morale, but that's been the case in Virginia just because of the situation in Virginia. This is the replacement depot. I'll keep them close just for the purposes of having my Army commander closer. So in the meantime, I'm going to move a couple of batteries up in front. Oh, we've hit the end of the day. Okay. So now we're going to have a chance to redeploy if we want to, and we're going to be super close to the new corps arriving. I don't think they're... Oh, Longstreet has arrived. Okay, perfect. So Longstreet's corps has arrived, though they're going to be all the way down here, so it's going to be a little while before we can put them into position, but we'll bring them in down this road here, and maybe we'll start to get in behind him and force him to move, and once he moves there, then we advance here. Something very, very strange is happening. My entire army is just randomly shifting to the right. There's some kind of a glitch going on. I'm trying to issue orders to tell them to stop. I don't know what is happening, but I've never seen this happen before. The entire army just en masse shifting to the right. It makes no sense whatsoever. Even with issuing orders, they're still shifting to the right. There's something wrong with the map. I'm going to try to save the game and come back into it. Alright, so Wander's Battle River Rebels are duking it out with this first battery over here, which only has 5 guns. I think we can probably neutralize that battery pretty quick if we do a little counter battery fire. I'm going to try to get our Blakeleys doing the same, but we've got to get them in a place where they can actually get line of sight on the enemy. It seems like saving the game and then coming back into it has mostly solved the problem. I keep trying to select this brigade and it keeps giving me the whole division, which I don't want. So I'm moving Claiborne's brigade or division into a reserve position over here, and you can see now that Longstreet's corps starting to get into position. The Fighting Conks have their perk finally, and we're going to dig in right along this unfinished railroad for now, and then start slowly advancing once I've got everybody there and they're not tired anymore. I think we have all our guns firing now. Perfect. I think while we're waiting for everybody to get in position, I'm starting to think about sending Cox's division over around here to the right to get on these guys' flank. And then I could shift Claiborne over here. I could also send the Hell Riders over this way. I could move this whole division over this direction. Bring Claiborne in to occupy their former position. And we're just about ready to start moving here. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so we might not get real far, but I am a little worried about... my morale's still pretty low, but he's got the objective and he's going to just start racking up points from that, which is going to make my situation more difficult if I don't get going. So looks like Anderson's division is stable, Sexy division's stable, so we'll go ahead and start moving them up. We'll bring Hood up, who is nervous, as a reserve, and then we got to get these guns coming up somewhere where they can start being effective. Alright, Stuart, I need you over there too. Alright, he's got a couple of them sticking out over here on his flank, so we're going to be hitting them pretty quick. There goes Claiborne moving into position. So we start closing the jaws of this thing on either side of him. Alright, looks like Imperial Stormtroopers, who are nervous right now, are going to get the first shots by infantry. Carswell Crusaders under Louis Armistead, they're unstable. Neither of which is an ideal situation. Going to get these 24-pounders up here, though, and they're going to start pouring into them. Okay. All the way over here on this side now. We're going to bring Cox's division into line just as Claiborne starts to move into that spot. This might be a difficult place to fire from through these woods. Need the Carswell Crusaders to move up just a hair. Now some of you point out sometimes that I don't click on like this, where, you know, if I click on Armistead and then I right click on Torbert, they'll move into the range where they need to fire. The reason I don't use that order is because if Torbert breaks, they will pursue. And if I'm not paying attention to that part of the line, I could have a unit charging headlong into the enemy lines without any support on either side, because I had previously given him that order to stay in range. So I really don't like to use that order very often. Luring to get up there. Alright, he's starting to pull out of the fortifications now. So this is when we start to move up. Sure what's taking Cock so long. So really it's just two of my brigades that are engaged right now fighting. So far it's pretty good. Them back to a reserve position just to get them out of the way so I can see what's going on here. A lot of this is just taking a while to unfold, like Cock's division getting out on the right side. Alright, Loring's going to start unloading the Virginia Legion. I'll bring Withers out on the right side there. Anderson's advancing. I think now we're going to have... having a little trouble with the controls there. Have these guys get into line now. Let's get them doing some long-range fire so they can start getting some rifle fire on those guns. Florida lead launchers launching their lead. Who's low on ammunition already? Armistead. Jeez. That didn't take long. Alright, we wiped out the battery. Let's move up. End of the day. Okay. Not a lot is going to change. It's going to wobble there. But this actually is good. This gives me a chance to redeploy now that all of my forces are on the field. Alright, here's what it looks like. Let's go ahead and get going. Just going to close on all fronts. Oh boy, he redeployed in such a way that he's right in the middle of my lines. Let's bring Hood around as quickly as we can. These guns don't know what to do. To swing around. Let's move Claiborne up. He's gonna ride that cavalry right into my lines. Is that what he's thinking about doing here? Oh, Sibley just broke in a hurry. Only lost 100 men. Imperial stormtroopers have lost 1,000 men. They're being fired on by like 4 brigades all at once. Oh, what a mess. Alright, we're going to ride the cavalry in there, the Royal Mounted Canadians, just to help out. I'm getting fired on like crazy here, so I have no choice but to just charge these lines while we bring Hood around. I'll probably have all these guys break, but it'll help. going to move up on his main line too. I'm just going to press forward everywhere as best I can. Alright, that actually is kind of working out. We couldn't shoot it out because I had one brigade up front being fired on by like 4 different Union brigades, so I had to charge. We broke a couple of his units. Some of mine will break too, but that's okay. It shatters the right side of his line. He doesn't have the manpower to spare for that. Same thing here, we got to charge. We're shooting it out against guys that are behind fortifications. This is a bid to end the war. I mean, we're not going to end the war with this battle, but we're going to be one step closer to it. We've got the numbers. So I'm just going to try to quickly break his line if I can. Come on, Morgan, break through. There's only one brigade and then a battery in that position. He's holding the line well there. Beautiful. Send the Hell Riders in there. It's a mess, but it's a mess that will work because of the numbers that I have. Casualties are even, about 6,000 on each side, but that's double the percentage for him. Alright, I'm going to send Pyron, Allegheny Raiders to hit these guns. This Pegram's just being lit up right now. Casualties are racking up quick for Pegram. He was just wounded. I'm not entirely surprised. The Hampton City boys got their hands full right now. Churchill's battalion's got to hit these guys. Ah, there goes Pegram. I was afraid of that. We've collapsed his left flank. Charge everybody in. He's lost 8,000 to my 7,000. There, we're gonna hit those guns now. Let's do it, Allegheny Raiders. Beautiful. Wiped out an enemy brigade somewhere. And that pushed him really far towards defeat. Now he's at 11,000 casualties. He's pulling out. Alright, Allegheny Raiders, hit him again. Beautiful. I think we got him. Got him on the run, boys. Since that was a complete mess and it was really hard to tell who did what, we're going to look at the post-battle stats just to kind of get a sense of where the fighting was, who did the most damage, who took the most casualties, that sort of thing. A lot of times we can tell that as things are happening, but that was just such a big fat mess. It's hard to. All right, so 14,000 ended up being the final number. It's a major Confederate victory, but I do want to go back and look at the statistics a little bit. So let's look at the combat report. So Army of Northern Virginia, 1st Corps did most of the damage. Specifically, the Sexy Division inflicted 3,000 casualties during that battle. Carswell Crusaders, 1,600 casualties inflicted. Also took 74 prisoners. I'm looking to see if anybody else. It doesn't really show prisoners taken at the... No, I guess it does. We only took 116 prisoners total. Now let's see who suffered the most in terms of casualties. %, in the 1st Corps. Specifically, Anderson's division took 32% casualties. Imperial Stormtroopers, 51% casualty rate. That's brutal for them. Followed by Hungarian Impalers with 33%, and the Calamari Crusaders took 21%. Of course, that's an artillery unit, and they came in with 181 men. They lost 47 during that struggle. So, a tough battle, but as Robert E. Lee says in the movie Gettysburg, we are adrift in a sea of blood, and I want it to end. I want this to be the final battle. That may have not have been the final battle, but we're trying to make it happen. With that glorious victory at Gordonsville, he's now at 30 national morale. That means that capturing Washington, D.C., which would be a 20 hit to national morale, I mean, with or without that, that ends the war, capturing Washington, D.C. Taking Kentucky would do it. Well, these would all get to 25, which would be really close. Winning one battle, plus getting Kentucky or Missouri would do the trick. But if Washington falls, that would do it too. And there's a good chance that happens. The French Expeditionary Corps is moving on, I don't know if they're moving on Dover, Delaware, or if they're moving on Philadelphia, because we've kind of lost sight of them. But they're in that direction somewhere. The Army of the Hudson is withdrawing. I think that was the army down here. No, that's the army of... Yeah, that is the Army of the Hudson. He's withdrawing in the face of Stonewall Jackson, who just got his 3rd perk. So we're going to keep pursuing up into Virginia. Where's Longstreet? He's here with the 1st Corps. Here comes the Army of Tennessee. That's just a headquarters for 92,000 men. Baltimore is in Union hands, or it's in British hands, I should say. Don't know where the French are, for sure. But I think we've got to keep the pressure up. Out west, let's not forget about that. We've got the Army of Tennessee right here. I'm going to move them up to take Lexington. Army of East Tennessee, we're going to push forward with them as well as a support. And man, the Army of the West has been dealing with multiple federal armies, just keeping them busy over here. All right, so 32,000 Frenchmen under Lieutenant General Foray defeated a Union army at the Battle of Wilmington on January 29th, which means they are indeed going for Philadelphia. So the British have Baltimore, the French have Frederick, Maryland, and they're marching on Philadelphia. All I need to do is keep the Union busy in Virginia, and this thing will be over. I'm going to march north. Try to put some pressure on Washington if I can. Even if it means leaving Richmond undefended. Although we probably could have sent Stonewall Jackson up there. Instead, he's over here and he's in a bad state of readiness now. So we could have a problem on our hands, but that at least keeps these guys busy. We'll send the Army of the Kanawha down here to reinforce him as best we can. So though I can't see them, I'm pretty sure it's the British that are actually laying siege to Washington, D.C. right now, and we're showing that they have a 72% chance of success. The French are bogged down in Wilmington outside of Philadelphia, and that's kind of where things stand with them. I'm waiting for the 2nd Corps to get their readiness up before I can move, because as things stand, they would not reinforce the 1st Corps in a fight. But if I can defeat these armies here, it actually looks like there's maybe only as few as 23,000 men in Northern Virginia right now. We can switch their readiness over to offensive. I want to move it up a little bit though before I move, because if I move it may drop again. Alright, let's see where we're at over here. Army of East Tennessee. Beauregard's army is in really good condition. They're up to green now. But we could make a move here. I just don't know how big those armies are. Looks like maybe 2 corps, 27,000 men, and 37,000. Oh, is that it? Glorious victory? Or is that the British that are retreating? The British have retreated. It always shows a victory when it's actually the Union that won there. British Expeditionary Corps is retreating, and now it looks like the Union's going to take Baltimore back. So that's going the opposite direction of what we want it to go, which means it's all the more important now that we make a move ourselves. I'd very much like to be the one that takes Washington. I just don't know if that's possible. Okay, this is a chance for like a major blow that could lead to the fall of Washington. We've got our pretty low morale still. Army of Northern Virginia that's nearly 90,000 strong, going up against a Union army that's about 60,000 strong, some of which won't arrive for 18 hours. There's a real opportunity here. Well, this is interesting. We're basically defending the same position that the Confederates did at the First Battle of Bull Run. Union coming in from the direction of Centerville, only we've got a much more massive force. And the interesting thing, too, is that Longstreet, who's a corps commander now, was a brigade commander down in this area during the original historic Battle of Bull Run. So we're going to dig in all along here, and we'll cover all the objectives, and we just have to defend. And when we get the opportunity... Oh, he's only got 20,000 men. You know what? Forget defending. We've got to push this, and we've got to crush this army. That's right, because he's going to be getting reinforcements. About 35,000 reinforcements headed his way. So we've got an opportunity before they get here. I want to look at the estimated time of arrival for his reinforcements. Oh, it's not really telling me. Well, we know they're not here yet. Okay, so we're running into them already here. I was advancing pretty aggressively. So what we got to do now is we've got to just drop our divisions into position right where we're seeing them. I'm going to issue some new orders. Try to organize. We're coming up from the south with the other corps, and we'll smash them pretty good. Well, we're still having a bit of a mess with our units that were still advancing. We didn't know when to stop over here, but we're trying to stabilize the line on the left side. Meanwhile, McLaw's division is going to move up and grab the entry point, and then they're going to be able to come swing around over here. He's got 24,000 men on the battlefield. Virginia Legion under Loring is in a pretty tough position at the moment. Oh, no, I didn't want the whole division to move. But we do have Anderson's division coming up to support. Now we're going to swing the claws around over here. Royal Irish Regiment getting in on the action. Their morale is eager. They're in a really good shape in terms of morale. Let's bring Gonzo's Gators forward a little bit. See if we can't hit this battery. Move Cox Division forward. He's starting to advance now over here. That's a replacement depot. That's why they're sitting back there. Well, Crusaders have reached elite status. We haven't had many of those among our brigades. It might be one of our first. I don't know why the artillery isn't moving forward. I've issued orders for that a couple of times. Gotta get our generals up. A little closer to the front. Take those guns. Royal Irish. Can't have them firing on Gonzo's Gators that close. That's going to spell disaster for them. And let's push up to the creek. Now Withers has a chance to hit Hamilton in the flank. Once he's fallen back. Just as McLaws starts to move in and hit them here. I think they realize that they've got to pull out. Now let's descend on Hamilton with everything we've got. We're going to do the same thing we did last time, which is just charge these units that are on his line and break them quickly. Go. He's retreating. We've captured, or we've caused a unit to disintegrate. So again, massive casualties inflicted on the enemy. This could turn into a major victory if we can get it over 33%. Which is certainly possible. Let's get our elite boys in there. It's at 28% now. We got another unit to disintegrate. That should do it. Oh, wait. That was the Hungarian Impalers on my side that disintegrated. Yeah, they had pretty low morale already. That's probably why. They'll be fine. They'll reform. All right. Almost 31%. Oh, I need another Union unit that I can inflict casualties on in the next 5 minutes, or we're not going to get this to a major victory. Oh, it's going to be so close. We were like 1% away. That's okay. It's a victory right outside of Washington, D.C. If we can march on the city and take it, this thing's over. Victory at Manassas Junction. This really puts the pressure on them, although you can see the readiness fell back to red for both of my corps, which is really not ideal. But he's back down to 30. He had gone up to 31%. We need the British to reform. Or we need the French to take Philadelphia. Oh man, just like that, we've got a battle that's going to take place with our armies in Tennessee. But I'm actually going to save that for the next episode. I was hoping maybe we'd end it with this one, but we're not quite there yet. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. Probably in the next day or two, I will be posting the post as I always do on Patreon, for you guys to begin doing your official requests for units for the upcoming Union campaign, which I expect is going to be harder than this one with the limited resources that I will have available to me. So be watching for that, and please make sure you respond on that post by replying under the post so I can keep everything in one place. It's the easiest way for me to make sure I get all those units recruited. If you send it to me in a message, I might miss it. All right, thanks. We'll see you soon.